Good morning, students. So, few questions we have discussed of chapter number 1, NCRT exercise questions. Okay, till question number 15 or 16 we have done. Okay, now few more questions are left. Let's discuss those questions. Question number 17 is careful measurements of electric field of a black box indicates that the outward flux is 8 into 10 raised to the power 3 Newton meter square per coulomb. So it is given that the outward flux, okay, that is which charges inside? Positive charges inside. Okay, so the flux is 8 into 10 raised to the power 3 Newton meter square per coulomb. What is the net charge inside the box? We have to find out the net charge inside the box. We know that according to Gauss law, the total flux inside is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. So hence Q is equal to this flux into epsilon naught. Okay, flux is given. You'll multiply it by epsilon naught. Epsilon naught has a value 8.854 into 10 raised to the power minus 12. Okay, so you will use that value and find out the charge. And which charge will be this? As the flux is outward, so it means it is the positive charge. Okay, next B part is if the net outward flux through the surface of the box were zero, could you conclude that there were no charges inside the box? Okay, it states that if the net flux is zero. So what does it mean? Does it mean that there is no net charge inside? There is no charge inside? Okay, through a cube or through a box, the net flux is zero. So what can you conclude? That is the total charge inside is zero? Yes. Here, not necessary that the net flux is zero. It means there is no charge inside the box. There can be charges. Okay, positive charge and equal amount of negative charge. Due to the positive charge, the electric field lines will be passing outwards, and due to the negative charge, the electric field lines will be passing inwards. So the net flux in that case will also be equal to zero. That is if there is a dipole inside the box. Due to the positive charge, the electric lines of forces will be passing outwards. That is, the flux will be positive, and due to the negative charge, the flux will be negative. Okay, and these two, the net flux in that case will can also be equal to zero. So not necessary that the charge inside is zero. There can be charges positive and equal amount of negative charge. Then question number 18. A point charge plus 10 microcoulombs is at a distance directly above the center of a square of side 10 centimeter as shown in the figure. Okay, question number 18 is there is a square surface of side 10 into 10 centimeter. Okay, and a charge is placed 5 centimeters above it. 5 centimeters above. A charge Q is placed which is plus 10 microcoulomb. Okay, what is the magnitude of the electric flux through this square? Okay, now when we use Gauss law, this charge should be enclosed inside a closed surface. So first we'll enclose this charge in a closed surface. That is, we'll make a cube of side 10 centimeter each. So here we'll make a cube of side 10 centimeter each. Yes, now you can see that the charge is well enclosed inside this cube. Okay, now the charge is well enclosed inside the cube. So now you can use Gauss law. Gauss law states that the total electric flux is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. How much is Q? 10 microcoulomb, that is 10 into 10 raised to the power minus 6 coulomb. And the value of epsilon naught is 8.854 into 10 raised to the power minus 12. Okay, or numerically you can use it to be 9 into 10 raised to the power minus 12. Okay, so Yes, so here you can calculate this total flux. Okay, flux is Q upon epsilon naught. So you will get some value of flux which is Newton meter square per coulomb. Now in the question that it is asked that you have to find out the flux only due to this square surface. Okay, this total flux is due to all these surfaces, that is some electric lines of forces passing through this surface, passing through this surface, passing through the front surface, back surface. So what will be the flux due to this? That is the flux due to only one surface, that is this surface, square surface. Flux due to each face will be equal to this total flux upon 6. How many types of surfaces are there? 6 surfaces. As it's a cube, how many surfaces are there? 6. So the flux due to this surface, due to this shaded surface, the surface which is asked in the question, will be equal to this total flux divided by 6. Okay, that is you have to find out the electric lines of forces passing only due to this surface. So it will be 1 by 6 times the total flux. Okay, this much Newton meter square per coulomb. Okay, then question number 19 to 24. Okay, very easy questions. Just based on the formula flux, use the Gauss law. Phi is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. So you will get the answers of these questions. If still you are having any doubt in these questions, so you will, when you are writing your name in the comment box, you will write the question number also, question number, page number. Okay, so those questions we will be going to discuss over there. So if you are having any doubt from question number 19 to 24. Okay, now additional exercise, few questions here we'll do it. Question number 25 is an oil drop of 12 excess electrons is held stationary under a electric field 2.55 into 10 raised to the power 4 Newton per coulomb in Millikan's oil drop experiment. Okay, this Millikan's oil drop experiment was to determine the quantization of charge Q is equal to N into A. This was first determined by Millikan's oil drop experiment. Okay, density of the oil is given and estimate the radius of the drop. Okay, and charged oil drop is held stationary in an electric field. Held stationary, it means the net force on it is equal to 0. Okay, which force is acting on it? The gravitational force, that is its weight mg, should be equal to the electrostatic force. It is held stationary in the electric field, that is it should be equal to Q into E. Okay, mass will be equal to, as the density is given, mass will be equal to volume into density. Let the density is rho into G is equal to Q into E. Yes, volume, as it's a spherical drop, its volume will be equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube. Rho into G is equal to Q into E. Okay, all these values are given. Q is 12 excess electrons, that is 12 into 1.6 into 10 raised power minus 19 coulomb. So Q is 12 into 12 excess electrons, means the charge on 12 electrons will be 12 into 1.6 into 10 raised power minus 19. Electric field is given as 2.55 into 10 raised to the power 4. Yes, your density is given as 1.26 grams per centimeter cube, which you will convert it in kg per meter cube, which is equal to 10 raised to the power minus 3 kg per meter cube. G is, you can take it to be 10, and you have to determine this R. No need to do the calculation, just understand it. Okay, this is question number 25. Question number 26. Which among the following cannot possibly represent electric field lines? The first one, an irregular shaped conductor is there on which positive charges uniformly distributed, and the electric field lines which are coming out, okay, are somewhat like this. Does this represent the electric lines of forces? Can they possibly represent? Now remember, revise all the properties of the electric lines of forces. They should come out normally from the surface of the conductor. These are not, some of the electric lines of forces, you can see that they are not normal to the surface of the conductor, not perpendicular to the surface of the conductor. So this one does not represent. The second one, here there is a positive charge, negative charge, positive to negative charge, the electric field lines are there. This is correct, but below it, few more electric field lines are there. Here it is negative, positive, again negative to positive. These electric field lines are given. Okay, now this one is not correct. Why? It cannot represent, because we know that the electric lines of forces are from positive to negative charge. Till here it is correct. Okay, but here it is showing from negative to positive charge. Okay, below there are few more. So this is also not representing the electric lines of forces. The third one, two positive charges are there and a well-defined quadrilateral is formed and the electric lines of forces are pointing outwards. So the third one is correct. D1, you can see that the electric lines of forces are intersecting each other, which is again not possible. E1, you can see in the figure that there are some closed loops formed. Okay, in between some closed loops are there. Electric lines of forces do not form closed loops. So again the E part is not correct. Okay, so only these two questions from the additional exercise, and the exercise questions you have to solve all these questions. Okay, most of them here I have solved it. Okay, 17 to 24. If you have any problem, you can write the question number in the comment box and then we'll solve it. Okay, now few board questions here we are going to discuss. One question I had given you day before yesterday, which was plus 3 sigma over here, minus 2 sigma over here. You have to find out the electric lines of forces in all the three regions. In the first region, due to plus charge, plus 3 sigma, it means it is having positive charge uniformly. What will be the direction of the electric field line? Away from the positive charge. Due to the second charge, the electric field will be towards the negative charge, towards the second sheet. So the net electric field in region 1, as you can see that these two electric field lines are pointing in opposite direction. So the net electric field lines will be difference of these two. Which one is greater? E1 minus E2. That is 1 upon 2 epsilon naught 3 sigma minus 2 sigma. Okay, this minus is over here. You will not write it as again minus 2 sigma and don't make it as plus. Okay, this minus, due to minus sign, we have already drawn the direction. So it will be E1 minus E2, that is sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. Now here you have to mention the direction. What will be the direction? As E1 is greater than E2. So the direction will be along E1 vector, that is towards left. Now find out between the two sheets. Due to this plus sheet, the electric field E1 away from the positive sheet, E2, the electric field due to minus 2 sigma sheet will be towards the negative sheet. The net electric field in the second region, as you can see that both are in the same direction. So the net electric field is E1 plus E2. E1 is 3 sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. E2 is 2 sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. Okay, so you can add it. How much is it? It will be 5 sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. And what will be the direction of the electric field? As both are pointing towards right, so the direction of the electric field will be towards right. The same way you can find out in the third region, the electric field due to plus 3 sigma sheet E1 away, due to minus E2 is along this direction, again E1 minus E2 you can find out. Okay, now here few more questions here we'll discuss. Okay, find out the electric flux. Find out the electric flux from S1 to S2. There are two spheres, S1 and S2. you have to find out the electric flux through S1 to S2. Okay, now here I am drawing. S1 is a sphere having a charge 2q. S2 is concentric sphere having a charge 4q between S1 and S2. Now here you have to find out the electric flux through S1 to S2, that is the ratio of the electric flux through S1 to S2. Use the Gauss law. Gauss law states that the electric flux is Q upon epsilon naught. So what will be the electric flux through S1? How much charge is enclosed? 2Q. So 2Q upon epsilon naught. What is the electric flux through S2? How much charge is enclosed in this sphere S2? It is 4 plus 2, 6Q. 6Q upon epsilon naught. Okay, the Gauss law states that the electric flux is the net charge enclosed upon epsilon naught. Okay, so on simplifying it, what do we get? We get the answer to be, how much is it? 1 is to 3, 2Q upon 6Q. That is 1 is to 3 is the answer. Okay, write the next question. Okay, all these are the questions which have come in the board. Write down. Show diagrammatically the orientation of the dipole in an electric field for which the torque is maximum. Second part, torque is half of the maximum value. And the third part, the torque is 0. Okay, only you have to draw the diagram to show that when a dipole is placed in an uniform electric field, the torque is maximum. Okay, when is the torque maximum? We know that the expression of the torque is Pe sine theta. Okay, this torque will be maximum when theta is equal to, when sine theta should be equal to 1, that is theta is equal to 90 degree. So now how will you draw the diagram for the first one? Draw the uniform electric field. This is the uniform electric field, and the dipole moment should be perpendicular to the electric field. The dipole moment should make an angle of 90 degree with the electric field. The torque is maximum. So here we have drawn for the first one. So here there is minus q charge and here it is plus q charge, because we know that the dipole moment is from minus q to plus q charge. Now the second part, only the diagram you have to draw it. In the second part, torque is half of the maximum value. Maximum torque is P into E. What will be the half of maximum value? Will be PE upon 2. This will be the half of. Okay, when will we get PE upon 2? Sine theta should be half. When is sine theta half? When theta is equal to 30 degrees. Okay, sine 30 is equal to 1 by 2. Half of the maximum value is PE upon 2. That is theta should be equal to 30 degrees. So now you can draw the figure. Draw uniform electric field. Okay, now the dipole moment should make an angle. This is the dipole moment, should make an angle of 30 degree with the uniform electric field. Then the torque is half of the maximum value. Third part, the torque is 0. When is the torque 0? When the dipole moment and the electric field both are in the same direction, that is the angle between them is 0 degree. Then the torque is 0. Okay, so these are some of the board questions. One more we'll discuss over here. Write down two charges of magnitude minus 2q and plus q, minus 2q and plus q are located at A0 and 4A0 respectively. That is, this is the position of minus 2q charge and this is the position of q charge. Okay, what is the electric flux? Complete the question. What is the electric flux? Due to these charges, through a sphere of radius 3a, okay, you have to find out the electric flux through a sphere whose radius is 3a, okay, with the center at its origin. So let's draw it. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. Let us draw these points. A0, okay, somewhere here. This is the location of A0. 4A0, suppose it is at this point, okay, 4 times from the origin. X-axis A, this is at A0. What is the charge? Minus 2q charge. And at 4A0, what is the charge? Q is the charge. Now here you have to draw a sphere of radius 3a passing through the origin. Okay, 3a will be somewhere here. Draw a sphere of radius 3a and you have to find out the electric flux through this sphere. Use the Gauss law. Gauss law states that the electric flux through this sphere is equal to the total charge enclosed inside this surface upon epsilon naught. So what will be the electric flux through this sphere of radius 3a? It will be q upon epsilon naught, where q is the charge enclosed inside this surface, inside this Gaussian surface. How much is the charge? Minus 2q upon epsilon naught. So the total electric flux will be equal to minus 2q upon epsilon naught. Okay, one last question here we'll discuss. Write down. Okay, two questions here we'll discuss depending based on force, electrostatic force. Write down force of attraction between 2 point charges. Force of attraction between 2 point charges at a distance d is F. Okay, force of attraction between 2 point charges at distance d is F. What distance apart they should be kept? What distance apart they should be kept in the same medium? In the same medium, so the force is F by 3. So the force is F by 3. Okay, so when they are placed at distance d, the force is F. Now at what distance they should be placed in the same medium so that the force is F by 3? Okay, this force F is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Suppose the two charges are Q1 and Q2, Q1 into Q2 upon d square. Okay, when they are placed at d distance, the force is F by 3. Now, the force is F by 3. We have to find out the distance, 1 upon 4 pi, the same charges. Suppose they are separated by r distance. This r has to be determined. R you will determine in terms of d. Why? Because in the question d is given. So what can you do? You can divide the two equations. Divide these two equations to get r in terms of d. Divide the two equations. Okay, F upon F by 3. What do we get? 3. Divide the left hand side. F upon F by 3 is 3. Now divide the right hand side. 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Q1 into Q2 cancels out. is equal to r square upon d square. So r square is equal to, you have to determine r. R square is equal to 3 into d square. So r is equal to root 3 into d. So the two charges should be placed at a distance root 3 into d. Then the force will be equal to F by 3. Okay. So in the question it is given that when they are placed at d distance, the force is F. At what distance they should be placed in the same medium so that the force is F by 3. So F is equal to this much, F by 3. This R has to be determined. Divide the two equations and you will get this R. Okay, one last question, one more question here we'll discuss based on electrostatic force. Plot a graph, plot a graph between F and 1 by R square. Plot a graph between F and 1 by R square between two charges of each pair, 1 microcoulomb, 2 microcoulomb, and the other pair is 2 microcoulomb minus 3 microcoulomb. Okay, you have to plot the graph between F and 1 by R square for this pair of charge and also for this pair of charge. Force versus 1 by R square. We know that force is inversely proportional to R square. The graph between F and R will be a curved line, inversely proportional. But here you have to plot the graph between force and 1 upon R square. How will be the graph between force and 1 by R square? It will be a straight line. Force and 1 by R square will be a straight line. For 1 and 2 microcoulomb, force is equal to k q1 q2 upon r square. Q1 q2 both are positive, so the force will be positive. So how will be the graph? It will be a straight line. So this is for 1 microcoulomb and 2 microcoulomb. Force will be positive and it will be a straight line. Why? Because we have to plot the graph between force and 1 by r square. Now let us plot for this pair 2 microcoulomb and minus 3 microcoulomb. Okay, now Q1 into Q2, the force will be negative. So you will get in this quadrant, force will be negative and the slope of the line K Q1 into Q2 upon R square, 2 into 3, it would be 6. So the slope will be more for this pair. The slope will be more. It will be a straight line in this quadrant, that is the force will be negative, but the slope will be more for this pair, 2 microcoulomb and minus 3 microcoulomb. Okay, so this is the graph for force and 1 by r square. If it is force and r or r square, it will be a curved line. Okay, but here we have to plot between force and 1 by r square. For this pair, the force is positive. For this pair, the force is negative, and the slope of this will be more. Why? Because force is directly proportional to Q1 into Q2. Q1 into Q2 is more as compared to this pair. So the slope of it will be more. Okay, so here we have discussed the NCERT exercise questions and few questions which have come in the board, CBSE board. Okay, now tomorrow we'll start the next chapter, which is electrostatic potential and capacitance. Okay, also don't forget to write your name after watching the TV, after watching this video, so that I can mark your attendance. Okay, so write your name and any doubt you can write in the comment. We'll discuss it on the next one. Okay, thank you everyone.